both teams are going to shrine up here. NP, they just created or just left a lot of space for Arteezy. You could see him trying to take advantage of his triple range creep that he's got set up right now, aggressively taking down the creep wave and trying to get as much chip damage on that offlane tower as much as possible. I think it's a big part of safe lane carry's duties right now is chipping down that offlane tower because, as we talked about earlier, how it is hard to go for a full push against it.
Well, here's the setup, trying to find the kill on the Jug. But with Zai here, this is never going to happen. And in fact, they might end up losing more for it than they bargained. The pullback, vacuum wall as well. They're controlling them up. MSS, his ulti's been popping. It looks like they are going to be able to bring down that Leshrac as well. And probably this Abaddon as well. Healing ward in the trees. He's microing to the best of his ability. They do manage to bring it down finally. And now Arteezy in a lot of trouble. But can they get it? No, he's able to juke away. They have the Grave as well to keep him alive. MSS's shield did not pop there to get the kill, and they lose a couple for it.
MSS was just shy of being able to get that kill. The brain sap from the Bane brought Arteezy so low, and if they'd actually killed the Jug, then that all would have been worth it because Meepo's just, farming away in various parts of the jungle while that's all happening. So if they can just make blow for blow, trade for trade, then it's into the favor of NP most of the time. But that also said, right, Sumail is also getting his own bits of free farm. And if you're looking from the NP perspective, you would love to be able to get another Moonlight Shadow smoke gank into the jungle and find that Tinker. Slow down that Boots of Travel a little bit more.
And for EG, I mean, thinking more and more about the context, the greater context of how this group stage works is Bane is walking in. Bane! Oh my god, he got him! Oh no!
Who needs Moonlight Shadow and smoke when you get an Invis rune?
Oh.
And Sumail's sitting at 100 HP.
God, Sumail's got to be so upset after that. That's so frustrating.
I'm sure SVG is going to be so happy because they're now also getting a lot of chip damage on that mid tower.
And they have been able to catch out Eternal Envy. He has dropped so low with that one. Ion Shell onto crit. Quite potent indeed.
Yeah, it's like the Ion Shell or Spirit combination. It's actually one of the hardest 3-4 duos to deal with in the game, I think. It's so much laning pressure, and there's so much ganking power when people are using this Ion Shell TP to move the Earth Spirit around the map, because he just kind of like keeps you from being able to escape for so long that the Ion Shell is oftentimes doing a majority of the damage.
Yeah. Again, just to go back to what I was talking about with the group stages as well, thinking about it was EG like have to win this game. It's a very tough group as it is, and having already gone down one, if they lose 0-2 to NP and they get a 3-point advantage, like they need to pull something out of this one because there's so many other good teams in this group if they want to move in the upper bracket. But in the meantime, there's another smoke movement in, and that fatal Earth Spirit and Ion Shell combo is ready to go, but nobody is there to take the gank as NP has all moved out across the map.
I'll tell you right now, Lyrical, all the other teams in Group B, they're watching this game and they're cheering the hell out of EG. They're like, let's go, EG, make this a tie, please, because they do not want any other team. Like, NP would be in such a great position because you presume not many teams are going to be able to 2-0 EG, so if they can be the ones to do it, they'll be a great position for their group. And so many others will be challenged to be able to take that point system against them. So, EG kind of moving around the map, the rotation of Crit and Universe covering the push by Arteezy, but NP very true to their style. They oftentimes stay pretty grouped up and usually around that mid lane area, not separating too much. It's why it was such a hard Slark game last time. So it is preventing any opportunities to be found by Crit right now.
Well, Crit is now showing up in mid, and they are going to eventually get this tower kill that may just be denied, though. So it looks like EG is in position to make that happen. And, well, that's still an objective down, and that's both of the tier 1s taken in top and mid. For NP, do you feel like there's any need to really start to like try and push the tempo at all and make stuff happen, or you just keep on farming up on Meepo, happy with that?
I think the tempo is simply getting that mid tower down. I think that's the first foremost objective that you need to do is make sure that Tinker doesn't have that very far forward objective to be able to TP into.
Oh, Fiend Script from far away. SVG has found him. Arteezy is going to be able to get the spin away now, and the turn, the Earth Spike, it's going to be enough to get that kill onto Crit. Split Earth coming in handy, and now NP ready to push again. The tier 1 bottom could potentially be next on the docket if they wanted to, but I guess they can also just deny the tower and move out across the jungle.
NP is one of the better teams at defending their safe lane tower. A lot of other teams would have just given that up and gone for more aggressive maneuvers, you know, try and take control of mid and the enemy jungle by pressuring those 2 other lanes. But NP they seem to have a knack for 5-manning together really well. And that was a very beautifully executed gank. Now, it doesn't actually translate into objective, but they do at least prevent that bounty from going to EG and slow down that Battle Fury a bit. And that is what Arteezy is looking to buy as his next item, as he's got it in his quick buy.
Okay. There is another big smoke movement that's coming out now. Envy doesn't have a ton of HP right now, but could end up joining them if they wanted to, although it looks like the call is to go in for Roshan. So how are you going to pick that up? A little bit trepidatious about it since Crit is in the area.
Yeah, EG, they know that this is about the time that Meepo's going to be looking to take Roshan. Meepo can usually solo it around now, so...
Oh, SVG, Self-Nightmare, still taking damage. Brain Sap to keep him alive. They're coming in with MSS as well. They're able to get that Split Earth, is connecting onto Jug and the pullback, so they're able to bait out a little bit of aggression there from EG, and he's still keeping their Bane alive.
MSS is going to be, it's kind of one of those heroes that just stands in front of a push and stops it just by his presence. You know, you can't really go on that. It's not like Jugs feels comfortable using his Omni Slash around into Baden. So that push is going to be kind of non-existent. EG are just going to back themselves away, try and be farm efficient. I think these two teams are both kind of efficient in the way that they farm, but in very stark differences. Evil Geniuses usually try and make the most out of this, like, you know, this 15 to 25 minute window by splitting apart and farming various areas, while NP, they focus a lot more on laning phase efficiency and trying to make sure that all their supports get the core amount of net worth they truly need by, you know, 10, 12 minutes. And then after that, they start grouping up a little bit more and saying, you know, hey, we got the lead that we wanted in the laning phase. Now let's just make sure we don't lose it by staying grouped up.
Yeah. Well, and I guess that plays more into the style of Meepo as well, is trying to just maintain that lead, not give anything away. He ended up going kind of an interesting build here as well. The Meepo has 2 Wraith Bands as well as a Dragon Lance and the Blink Dagger now, which should allow him to scout out and take down Sumail more often than not. Although we have seen that they've tended to keep one of the supports with Sumail on this Tinker every time he's rotated to the lane. Up in the top, Zai was right next to him. Now he had Crit next to him to make sure that they didn't initiate, and they've been doing a good job of covering their mid player. Yeah,
I think AUI knows that he does have to start putting pressure on the Tinker. He has to pick up that early Blink Dagger. You can't go the fully stat-efficient build that you used to on Meepo. First of all, because of Dragonlance got nerfed a little bit, but also primarily because you're opposing a Tinker, and you need to try and actually use the map control that NP have. Nice pick off on Zai, though.
Yeah, the classic combo, Nightmare into an arrow, easy peasy mode.
You just hate life as a support, you know? You just push out, you're just trying to get a ward down or something, you're like, oh, I got slept, I'm dead now.
Yeah.
There's nothing I can do. Hands off the keyboard.
This is what happens in my life.
Yeah.
Well, and also you take a look at these two players here that were in the mid role by the end of it, looking quite good for experience per minute in GPM. That's how it goes if you're a Meepo player. But how have you felt about his performance so far, considering this is one of his first ones that we've seen on the pro game stage?
Not really much to say. So far, I think, you know, his Meepo play has just been adequate. It's once you get the Blink Dagger and you start seeing, it's not just about the technical performance, though that is a significant part of it, but it's also about picking and choosing, you know, where you go. And, you know, sometimes we're going to have traps set up by EG. They're going to bait out something and see if the Meepo goes on it. But he's got his first big kill here.
Yeah, this is a nice one to pick up, although maybe going to be able to bait it out. They get the Grave off in time, and now Aui's in a little bit of trouble. Can they bring down Sumail, though, in time? They aren't going to be able to get the kill. He's barely alive. You talked about those traps, and not sure if it was one, but it ended up working out for EG.
Oh, man. EG, how do they just keep getting away with this? It's like highway robbery every single time I watch these heroes walk away with just 100 HP. And, you know, it's oftentimes just small little things you do, you know, tread switching, or an ally makes just like the right kind of heal play or something like that. But I was just, you know, watching Sumail walk away from another gank like that. I thought for a second, I was like, oh, this is fine for EG, and then I watched Sumail just start dropping like a rock in HP, and I was like, uh-oh. You know, that's not so good. But
well, and this is also Arteezy getting his Battle Fury now. at a timing before like the tier 1 tower goes down in the bottom lane. So granted, it's not like, you know, the most spectacular Battle Fury time we've ever had in our lives, but it's going to allow them, the fact that not too many objectives have been taken, to really keep these lanes pressured out. And I feel like EG are in a very comfortable spot against this Meepo.
Yeah, it's normally the Juggernaut would be a bit scared. Like, his job would usually be to split push and then rely on Blade Fury to TP out if any ganks come his way. He can't do that against a Bane, but that's okay because Sumail's actually going to be the one adopting the, you know, I'm going to split push out all the lanes and keep all this aggression, and then Arteezy can focus on just jungling. Might get caught here, though.
Yeah, they're not quite within range to control him as of yet, trying to get his way away, and now he's turning to fight. There's the Nightmare. But yeah, with Universe coming in, they're not going to be able to actually take this fight, I don't imagine, as SVG uses the Brain Sap to get a little bit more HP and back out.
Oh, AUI trying to catch crit there as he approached the bottom lane. That does reveal that there's a laning ward. Looks like it's going to fade out anyway.
Oh
He's
my
still
God.
going to get caught?
This might be a problem. Needs to get his way away. Silent Stun, taking a ton of damage as well, and it does look like Owie barely able to escape from that one.
No,
but the Magnetize, oh my God, they got him. Oh, that was really close.
Okay, well, I think this Meepo game is very rapidly turning into a disaster. The first failed Blink rotation in a bottom lane where they had that team fight, EG was around and they were able to respond to the jump on crit. Now this time around, again, he tries to kind of jump crit and there's a response by EG. Like, you can't afford those kind of mistakes for a Meepo game against late game heroes, right? If we didn't have a late game presence by EG in their last pick Tinker, this wouldn't be too big of a deal, but you have to understand is the Meepo's kind of like an alchemist, right? He's getting all this extra gold and extra experience, and these deaths hurt a lot more than most other carries would. You feed a lot back into the EG crew when you die like that.
Well, this is at least a little something. Finding a pick off here onto crit. They need whatever kills they can get at this point because they're now behind, you know, 5 to 10, but 4 to 10, it's still a rough one to go. And you know, Zaya's also picked up this Medallion of Courage for himself, so if they do win a couple more engagements, they could possibly try and get something like Roche. But this feels like a really salvageable thing now that you have Owie going in to get Roshan for themselves with that pick off on crit.
EG are still going to try and contest, but it's going to be a rough one.
Oh, going in. They want to get it. They're able to get the Nightmare off onto Arteezy, but the wall vacuum breaking Dota for a second. MSS starting to fall, but he gets the ulti off. They're able to take down Roche, and Owie does pick it up, but immediately going to be popped. Omni Slash was used. The Battle Fury finally coming into play, and now the arrow connecting as well onto Arteezy. They need to burst him down in this time period, but there's the Grave trying to TP away, and they are going to be able to break that TP with the Nightmare. A couple more right clicks. They clean it up. Still, not like a definitive great win for NP, but it's something.
Yeah, Universe felt like he was, I think, a little bit pressured on timing of the Roshan. You know, I think he was thinking, oh, Roshan's just about to die. If he just placed that wall a little bit deeper in and NP weren't able to retreat further into the pit like they did, maybe that could have been a huge win for EG and kind of just shut down NP entirely. But as a result, NP controlled that Roshan play really well. They just backed out of the wall, finish off Roshan. You give that Aegis to the Meepo, he tanks the Omni Slash, and the whole entire fight is reset in your favor. So they reacted really well to that play by EG, and they do have themselves, again, you said it wasn't like an amazing team fight for them, but it was okay.
Yeah. And now bottom, another pick off there. 1437 going to go down. Crit is a little bit deep and doesn't have another rolling boulder for 10 seconds, although he does have a stun to throw out, so they won't be able to chase him down at all. But that blink on the Earth Spirit being quite effective in this game. We also saw, if I'm not mistaken, the Sheep Stick being worked on by the Meepo. He's still a little ways away, but that's another one of those power spike items that could allow him to take further advantage of killing off the Tinker. Yeah, for sure. It's just a question of whether or not you can find Sumail, right? And I don't feel like we've seen NP outmaneuvering Evil Geniuses enough to get those opportunities already. It's not like we've seen any plays where it's like, oh, if he just had that Scythe of Ice, what a change that would have been, you know, catching that big core. But it will allow him faster, easier opportunities to kill the Tinker, and also, maybe more notably, an opportunity to be able to immediately jump Juggernaut and break him down. It's another thing that Juggernaut kind of has to fear. Not just the Fiend's Grip that can catch him out of the Blade Fury if he tries to make that play and TP out, but now even preemptively could be Scythe of Ice up. So he's going to have to play a lot more defensively, and it's pretty much the Sumail game at this point. It's kind of like, you know, the Cup game Oh,
you know,
yeah.
you're just like, it's the Tinker. You know, there's 3 lanes, there's 3 cups. The Tinker's in one of these lanes, and you just gotta try and find him. Once you do finally kill him, then you can control the map and push out from there. And then you have to play the shell game eventually again.
I always lose that game. I'm not very good at it.
Well, that's why you should never play that game. That's usually a scam.
Got Sumail over here who's going to end up TPing away. There was a smoke gank that was going down towards bottom, hoping to catch him, but didn't end up happening. Instead,
wrong cup?
Yeah, wrong cup. There you go. There is still, a possibility here with the Moonlight Shadow. Juggernaut is in the mid lane. It's a little bit tough to get that initiation off, though, when you know the rest of the supports are just going to be right there with them. I do like the idea that MSS is going for kind of an insurance measure, going for the Radiance next. At least that's what he had queued up. If he did end up getting into that amount of gold, do you think that that's sort of a fallback measure for them where they can have this third core that's quite strong?
Yeah, in some ways. I mean, the Abaddon was picked up by the NA region a lot. Ike's Mike in particular, I think, was one of the earlier adopters of going this sustain build on Abaddon. Goes the mech and Guardian Greaves and such, and later on would pick up the Radiance. And then we saw, as the patch progressed, we saw a lot more aggressive Abaddons, Helma Dom and Radiance. So I think this is just a natural progression for him as he's found farm, but not something you can rely on.
Meepo caught out again. They were able to get a nice jump in there from Crit. They do get the vacuum back to pull in for the kill. And, well, now SVG in a hell of a lot of trouble himself, trying to get away from this one. There is a Nightmare of stun out as well, but it's not going to be enough to get him away. And that's 2 dead again for NP, and Meepo gone for 60. Oh.
That is so much time for Evil Geniuses to be able to take objectives. Tinker's going to be able to get all of these lanes pushed in to tier 2 areas, and the rest of his team is just going to be super farm efficient or take objectives, maybe even both. They could just do so much with this long death timer of the Meepo, and it's one of the inherent dangers of picking this hero. So Evil Geniuses, they're far ahead, and they're going to get farther ahead off of that pick. Like a couple more pickoffs like that, and I'm not sure if NP is going to be able to do too much. Nice arrow, though.
Yeah.
Not much is going to happen, though.
It holds off the push for a second. Value. It's something going right, which feels good. You gotta hang your hat somewhere.
It's a moral victory of some sorts.
Oh. I mean, the other thing about that long death timer for Meepo is it's more time that he's not farming as well, which is you gotta keep that pressure up. We do have Lesh, who's going into a hood, and that's also the full pipe recipe, so that's going to be completed. Another thing to help mitigate that incoming damage from the Tinker, but he does also have an Aghanims now, which means, God, the refracting laser is just going to be a nightmare to deal with for MP.
Yeah, what you really wanted to do was, as the Meepo, pick up the Blink Dagger, get a couple of kills on this Tinker, shut out the game enough that you were able to go high ground before that Aghanims Ether Lens combination was up. But that timing has been missed. We're going to go to plan B Lyrical, and NP are going to have to play a lot off of initiation. Now, they could still win the game, right? They're going to have to deal with, probably a really farmed Tinker and a really farmed Juggernaut, but they can still win the game purely off of initiation and Meepo play. It's going to be difficult. There's going to be a lot of problems, but they do have the opportunity to do that. So they just gotta find some way to recovery and just get a little bit of tempo back in their favor. I'm not sure how that is going to happen. I'm not sure. Do they have any smokes? EG's got one. NP doesn't. They probably want to finish up this Radiance first.
Hey, you see that stat? 2,800 gold spent on supporting items for Zai. Dazzle has not been buying a whole heck of a lot for himself. But another movement forward. They've been able to find the Meepo yet again. Omni Slash committed immediately, and Owie is going to go down. Owie indeed. Oh, they get hurt.
Yeah, that was not nice. EG.
And you okay?
Oh, damn it, Lyrical.
6-14. Pressure's going to come in now.
You need to take off that suit and put on the Hawaiian floral.
I know.
Shirt back on.
You have to have your moments. Provide some levity to the game. EG 7,500 net worth ahead, and they do have the Relic at least now on MSS.
Yep, they do. It's just the problem is it's not like this Radiance. It's like a secondary core, but he doesn't like transform the game oftentimes, and it won't transform this game, right? It's not like Tinker really cares too much, and most he's gonna feel is like, oh, it's kind of annoying. I can't blink sometimes with this hero's on me, but for the most part, it's just gonna be Tinker bouncing in and out, And NP, I mean, there's another situation, right? SVG, right place, right time, just like barely wrong in his positioning, that he misses out on a potential kill on the Tinker. And this is the frustrating part dealing with Tinkers, is that you have to make those kind of plays, but what's going to end up feeling like is that if you don't connect, if you're just wrong sometimes, you're just a little unlucky, you're going to feel like you're wasting so much time.
Yeah, and then things like this happen where MSS gets caught out for a second. They'll be able to body block him, and, well, Meepo's going to actually jump in, try and bring him down. There's a lot of damage being dealt out, but he's about to evaporate as well. Arteezy and that laser get shot out. Another vacuum into two of them. They're able to take down, at the very least, the Darkseer and the Jug. So there is something going back there, but it all started off again with Meepo going down early.
Yeah, if they just could have gotten MSS a little bit more HP, maybe he could have survived long enough to really get some Radiance damage in and burn out some of those. Oh, he doesn't even have the Radiance yet. Man, I was so sure that he would have had it by now, but it's still just sitting a recipe away. So
yeah,
this is rough. They do have at least the Eternal Envy is going to try and turn himself into more of a right-click core. We're seeing a lot of Maranas do this right now.
He has a rapier queued up.
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
Okay.
I don't know. Like, Envy, I think the beauty that comes from the artist that is Eternal Envy, right. He has this, I wouldn't even say it's that unique, but he really commits to this idea that when you're behind, right, there's that quote, right, where everything's messed up, you got to shake things up, or, you know, whatever the exact quote is from Eternal Envy. But he does have this idea. It's like, when you're in a losing side of Dota, you need to start doing things that are really dramatic. In order to upset the current odds. If you just play normal Dota, you're probably going to lose. So that is where a lot of the beautiful high-level plays come out from Eternal Maiden. That's also where a lot of the throws come in. Is he feels like he's in a losing situation and needs to change things. That said, it's not quite that situation just yet.
No, definitely. I mean, I like the, honestly, I love the idea of it. It sounds really cool. He's going to end up jumping away from Arteezy here. Has he found him? But no way to break that, obviously. So we'll be able to escape. That is the Radiance done as well for Abaddon. I guess, is it sort of a, do you think that he would go for a Rapier? Like, let's just say hypothetically that quick buy isn't crazy. Does that change the complexion of the game at all, that level of damage physically? Yeah,
absolutely. It gives them a win condition that was back around that 35-40 minute timing that we were talking about, closing out the game by 45 minutes. But I do think it's okay if they just want to.
This would be a good way to get towards it. Now they've caught him out. Tail bringing him low. They are going to get it, but the vacuum wall now down on absolutely everybody. There's no follow-up damage, though. They're not there. And now Crit trying to roll away. It's going to be able to make the escape. Reapplying Magnetize. They're trying to chase these guys down. Arteezy going in for the kill. They'll bring down Owie. Now 14-37. Also in trouble. Sumail is going to start going off. Rocket, lasers, every damn thing thrown at him. And 9-20 continuing it.
And P, they finally make the right Moonlight Shadow rotation and catch the Tinker, but it just kind of spoils against them. Crit did such a good job delaying their retreat long enough for Tinker with the buyback to come in and lay out the damage necessary to get multiple kills. Now they've got Roshan available to them with this Aegis. They can probably look to try and take, maybe not even a full lane of racks, but if you can at least take the tier 3 and open up shrines, that would be the step forward for EG in closing out this game.
Well, Aegis certainly don't hurt, and Arteezy now ready to go up and assault high ground, or at least, at the very least, try and, you know, shut down the vision that we have on the rest of NP's side. So Battle Fury as well as the Manta style done. There's like a lot of answers that NP have individually. Where do you see, like, with Abaddon next, he's got this the Radiance. Do you think it's worth to go back for like an Aghanims at this point potentially, or
for the Abaddon?
Yeah.
I think he's got a Blink Dagger queued up right now. I think that's the best thing for him. So when he does get caught in some sort of disable area, he just pops the ultimate, waits 3 seconds, and is able to blink out. That's the beauty of having a Blink Dagger and a Abaddon, is that you can almost always rely on being able to blink out during your ult. I'm not sure if the Ags is really going to change too much for them. It does feel like there's just enough direct damage from EG. You can't mitigate that, right?
Yeah.
If they're going to lay into a meepo, they're going to do it, and you're not going to be able to stop it. So I think NP, their win condition is less about stopping that damage by having sustain, and more about being able to find the initiation. It's not about the items that they can pick up. It's more about being able to find the opportunities to start the fight off on a front foot, you know, keeping Tinker down and or finding a really good support kill or something like that.
Well, they have gone into the damage talent for Envy as well. They're trying to find whatever answers they can to just get more damage out on the field, because it does feel like they can sometimes blow up one hero, but as soon as that initial combo comes out of that heavy magical damage, there's not a whole lot left over afterwards. But now they kind of have answers too. If the Jug goes into spin, you can maybe bring him down through all the right clicks that they've got, as well as just the DOT. Still unlikely to try and pick off the Jug since he's still got that Aegis.
Oh my god, he actually did it. I was going to say, I was like, here's what I think Envy's going to do.
Okay.
He's going to buy the Demon Edge, and then he's going to hold on to the extra gold. And if some sort of scenario comes in, like EG's pushing into you and you don't have the gold for Divine, he'll buy out Mjolnir and, just call it that. He doesn't do that. He's just like, all right, I have enough gold for the big part of the Rapier. I'm going to go ahead and buy my Sacred Relic. Not even disguise the fact that he's got this queued up.
Yeah. I think that it's sort of one of those things where it's like you know that this is going to have to happen for you if you want to win, or at least that's what he expects is going to happen. I kind of agree with him at this point, although we do have a little bit of a fight happening. Sumail is over in the jungle. Aoi is waiting, seeing if they could find somebody, but he is going to end up just trying to poof out. Now it looks like 1437 is going to be the one to fall. Yeah.
This is even worse than the cup game, right? Because this time they chose the right cup. They went to the lane, they set up the trap where the Tinker went. But then it was like after the cup, you found a coin. And then the guy's like, okay, now I'm going to flip this coin. And in order to win, you have to get tails. And the problem was they went down, right? They went the bottom half of the jungle area thinking Tinker would TP in and blink downwards, but he blinked up.
Yeah.
So they didn't even get that opportunity.
Oh, it hurts. And now they're assaulting high ground as well. SVG there, they're going to be maybe even forced into using the Shrine. MSS can burn through this a little bit with the Radiance, but it's not easy by any means. Arteezy's rooted, but doesn't really care. They pop the ulti as well for MSS with the Shrine going. Oh my god, and now the rocket spam is going to come out from Tinker. They get an arrow, which is nice. Some right clicks going down onto Arteezy, but they just don't have nearly enough damage. And with the healing ward back there as well, they just can't burst through him at all. Another laser refraction. Might be able to go for some type of a Fiend's Grip play here. Possibly the splitter. Not going to be enough. They take down the tier 3. And honestly, Arteezy doesn't even look like he wants to leave. They are just so dominant at this point. NP do not have the answer.
Yeah, there's no reason to leave. He's got the Aegis. He's going to have another healing ward up in 15 seconds, too.
Another creep wave is going to come in a bit. You do have another ABBA ulti, and they're able to keep them from fully assaulting high ground. And now you have a sheep stick done on Tinker, too. My god, they are so farmed.
Yeah, AUI's backed off of his push at top lane. I'm not sure. I think he kind of needed to keep that pressure there because EG is not leaving.
No. Oh, good blink away. Universe. Vacuum wall completely off the mark, even with the added radius, and they've hexed him up for the moment as well. Trying to bring him down. Arrow was not there to connect, and Arteezy starting to drop low. He does get great, but they still have the Fiend's Grip going. Right clicks coming through. If they could kill him off here, it would be fabulous for him. It is just the Aegis, though, and Sumail still large and in charge in the background. SVG looking to go for a Nightmare is going to be able to connect it, and, well, that's actually going to be the Dazzle out of the fight for the moment, but they don't have enough damage to bring down Arteezy at this point. So it kind of doesn't even end up mattering. Maybe with the Split Earth and all the spam. Crits there as well. A really good stun. There's the Vacuum onto 3 of them. There's an Omni Slash out there as well. Envy is going to drop. And it looks like Arteezy will be able to escape as well.
They just can't get the healing ward in the background. They just can't get to it. That's the problem. Arteezy keeps pushing forward and forcing his ward backwards, and NP can't get that sustain item out of the way.
And now ABBA finally going to drop. No more ulti left for him. And EG will take what they came for. Both sets of barracks down. You have an E-Blade on Meepo, so maybe you have a chance there with some huge burst, but it feels unlikely as EG are going to continue this rampage through the base.
And Tinker's just going to keep backing them up. More March of the Machines, more rocket spams as Arteezy hits tier 3s. Another healing ward coming up in 8 seconds.
Now there's a Nightmare. Split Earth as well. There's ways that this could work for them. The root is onto 3. Reapplying it there onto Arteezy as the tower is going to start to drop, but they drop another healing ward, and there is still no answer for that. Another Vacuum into the stone. It's going to do a lot of damage here. Lesh needs to back out. We'll be able to escape for the moment, and actually they've hexed up the Meepo who went forward. Isn't going to be able to use any of those items. Sumail, great reactions, and almost able to even kill off Meepo there. Envy is going to drop. Oh my god, and Crit ended up killing off the Meepo as well. Yeah, yep, this is tough. This is a really hard one. Arrow connects onto Earth Spirit. He is going to fall. No, they get another Grave off. Dazzle, he's been in the right place, right time, every time. EG taking no prisoners, but taking the base.
RTZ, even just with the extra bit there, blinks forward, recovers the gem for them. So they lost one support but didn't lose the gem, and now they're actually just going to try and close out the game, it looks like.
Yeah, and you're not going to be able to be into Rapier territory even because he had to buy back in that fight. So
oh, the arrow.
Oh, wait, no, it's there. It's there. It's actually, he does have it. It's on the courier. They're trying to bring it back to him. This might be an opportunity here. It's going to be able to have a huge increase in the damage. The right click's coming through. He takes down one. Can he find more? They're leaping forward, trying to bring down Arteezy. They have the Glimmer Cape there to keep him alive. This might be enough if they can contain him just long enough. They're chasing. There's the Manta Dodge trying to escape. The right click's coming. It's going to kill off Universe.
Oh.
Envy did it. Oh, baby.
Envy, show him who's boss, baby. Oh, Divine Rapier at just the perfect time. And it couldn't be better, right? He hits him with the arrow and the Divine Rapier comes in right as they have this opportunity to do a bunch of right-click damage. All these other times, this Divine Rapier, like, oftentimes this is going to look really lackluster because there's going to be this laser bouncing around. He's going to be blind half the time and won't be able to shoot anything. But that one moment where he hits the arrow on the Tinker, it does give NP a window of hope.
Tinker is dead for 40 seconds here, and they are pushing down mid. I don't know what exactly they're going to be able to do, but they certainly feel the need to do something. Yeah, look at this timing he gets delivered. Oh, as the BKB is completed, too. So, like, you think about if Envy gets into a couple more levels, he's level 23 right now. That 100 attack speed leap thing, we might see some magic here, as it looks like they're getting ready to assault high ground as we come back into the game.
This could be good. If they take this tier 3, they can't possibly take Raxus. I don't think that's possible. I don't think that's a good idea. But
well, he does a lot of damage.
I think they should take the Roshan Shrine away.
Okay.
Take the Roshan Shrine away. Start setting up for Roshan, because that is so big if they can get Aegis and Divine on Envy. Make sure he doesn't just get popped at any point in time by, you know, a Juggernaut, Blinkin, Abyssal Blade, or a Tinker. Like, they have to ensure a backup plan for Envy. So they couldn't quite finish off the Shrine. They didn't feel comfortable about that. The death timers were just a little bit too fast on the side of EG, so they couldn't take that little bit of objective control over that, but they can still set up for Roshan and try and claim that Aegis and Cheese.
Well, this has certainly turned into something I don't think many people were expecting, and Abaddon does go back for that Ag Scepter. So this is now a moment where you have another saving mechanism for Mirana outside of her normal kit, and they're going in to contest Roshan. Will they get there in time, though, is the big question. It's dropping very low. 1437, he gets the split earth. Oh. Arrow almost connects. Oh, the Blade Fairy, but Envy jumps in. Can he bring him down in time? The Abyssal Blade controlling him for the moment, but the right clicks. Omni Slash is there. Envy is dropping low, but he is going to be able to get the Aegis. Arteezy got the Aegis instead, takes down Envy. Rapier on the ground, and it looks like actually it's going to be Leshrak who picks it up. The big body right clicks coming in from 1437. He's never had so much net worth in his life, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. Oh, Crit is there. They stun onto Bane, trying to bring them all down. Abaddon, he will have his ulti back up in 10 seconds, but it doesn't look like it's going to be soon enough, as they'll be able to bring him down as well. Oh, it was a dream for a moment.
Lyrical, I so badly wanted to see this game stretch out longer with Envy holding that Divine Rapier, but I don't know how he did it, but Arteezy managed to grab that Aegis before Envy could. I'm not sure if he did it like while he was still Omni Slashing onto Envy, or if he just dropped down just before Envy was able to pick it up. I couldn't quite see exactly what happened, but as soon as that Aegis was picked up by the Juggernaut instead of Envy, you knew.